So are you suggesting help the audience understand what
I think
understanding?
what's going on in our heads, and that's what's going on in these large language models. So they work the same as us. And that means that they really do understand.
One of Chomsky's counter-arguments to that the language models work the same is that we have sparse input for our understanding. We don't have to feed the internet to ourselves. So
It's
what do you
true.
say to that?
It's true that the language models are trained on much more data. They are less statistically efficient than us. However, when children learn language, they don't just learn it by listening to the radio. They learn it by being in the real world and interacting with things in the world. And you need far less input if you train a multimodal model. It doesn't need as much language. And the more, if you give it a robot arm and a camera and it's interacting with the world, it needs a lot less language. So that's one argument. It still probably needs more than a person. The other argument goes like this. The backpropagation training algorithm is really good at packing a lot of knowledge into a few weights, where a few is a trillion, if you give it a lot of experience. So it's good at taking this huge amount of experience, sucking the knowledge out and packing it into a relatively small number of weights like a trillion. That's not the problem we have. We have the opposite problem. We've got a huge number of weights, like 100 trillion, but we only live for 2 billion seconds. And so we don't have much experience. So we need to be optimized for making the best use you can of the very limited amount of experience you get. Which says we're probably not using backpropagation. We're probably using some other learning algorithm. And in that sense, Chomsky may be right that we learn based on less knowledge. But what we learn is how to associate features with words and how these features should interact.